Hello class, Professor Watson. This week's discussion will go over some of the behaviors of people and things as inspectors or firefighters that are controllable on our end that we need to ensure is going to cause prevention of possible disaster, or best case scenarios that if disaster happens, people are prepared for it. We'll start out with the preparations and things that we can do to prevent disaster or prepare for disaster. Fire systems. One of the basic things that inspectors have to do is test fire alarms. So what they're going to do is they're going to test those systems, make sure they're operational. They're going to test emergency lights, make sure they're operational. They're going to check fire extinguishers, check dates, make sure they're operational. Check test sprinklers, make sure the systems are working properly. They're going to have to call companies to make sure that systems are working on their end too. Say with a fire alarm system, you have a monitoring system. Everything may be fine on the end where you're hitting the test, but it may not be getting the signal through the monitoring center. So that's something to consider is to call them, make sure everything's working on their end as well. Just that way, everyone's more safe in that instance. Um, Aside from the alarm systems and the suppression systems, another thing that we have to check for as inspectors and firefighters is proper egress and ingress. This doesn't mean just does a building have the proper amount of windows and doors. It also means are those windows and doors locked? Are they supposed to be locked? If they're not, they have to be accessible for ingress or egress. They're not locked. Um, you don't want to have them blocked either for storage purposes. Say back of a warehouse, someone's got pallets or whatnot blocking a doorway. These things are not going to be conducive in case fire happens or some kind of disaster happens. You need egress and you don't have it. So things that we can prevent on our side are going to be this kind of stuff. Even occupancy load. The occupancy load. Make sure buildings, whether it be restaurant, nightclub, just a strip plaza building, make sure everything's within limits. Now, some things we can't control is say there was a special event or something and the occupancy load is well over its limit. This is going to be more or less, behavior side. People are going to cause this issue where it's not something controllable on our end. So I'll go over some of the things that aren't controllable on our side that we tend to we can't control. Things that people will do in a fire. People will try to save things or take stuff out of a fire before protecting themselves. Some of the things that people will try to protect or save can be pets, family, friends, pictures or memorabilia, deeds to houses, paperwork, money, jewelry. Everyone's different. There's even instances where people have tried to go back into a burning building to get drugs out of the building so that they wouldn't get in trouble. I can understand the concept behind this, but it just doesn't make sense. The philosophy to go back into a burning building to save your drugs so you don't go to jail, but it's going to burn up in a fire. Probably not going to be much evidence. So there's things that people try to save that before saving themselves, which is kind of a big no-no in our field. So um, looking up some of the stuff, found a bunch of norms for behavior. People's normal behavior would be getting out of a fire. Once a person realizes that they are in immediate danger, the norm is they're going to try to get out of that fire. They're going to try to get away from that danger, put themselves away from harm. People want to evacuate through a familiar exit or route. If someone comes home from work every day and comes through their front door, puts their shoes, at the front door, in and out of that front door, they're going to use that front door as a means of getting out of the house. And even if there's smoke or possible danger within that pathway heading to that front door, they're still going to attempt that front door exit, even if, say, the back door, there's nothing going on back there. It's, no smoke, the conditions are fine. They're still going to do what's familiar to them because during that time of disaster or heightened sense of fear, you're going to go and do what's familiar. You're going to do the thing that you do all the time. Women and men. Women are going to more or less want to warn or assist others. So this is going to be the maternal instinct of women, especially with children. They're going to want to save their kids. They're going to want to save their pets. They're going to want to save their stuff. I don't know. They're just want to. They're going to want to assist or warn people of what's going on. With men, if conditions aren't terribly out of control and the fire in their mind is controllable, or they think that they can put it out, they're going to typically try to fight that fire. And then once it becomes uncontrollable, they're going to revert back to get out of the fire because we know it's dangerous. So the first thing they're going to do is want to fight it. Something else is explains that panic is actually a rare thing. People will not panic. They'll have fear and they'll have the adrenaline, but the actual panic mode where they just hysterical, it's not going to happen while they're in the fire unless they feel means of being trapped. If they tried getting out that front door and they can't get out, then they think, oh, I got the back door. They try to go to the back door, that's blocked too. Panic mode's going to set in, and once that sets in, hysteria sets in, it becomes very dangerous for someone. They make bad decisions. They don't think things through to a point of a rational person, and that's when you start having unfortunate casualties of victims. Is when panic mode sets in. But it's not something that commonly happens unless faced with being trapped, feeling of trapped. Something else I have in here is it lists that disabled or handicapped people can usually help themselves in the fire. Uh, if someone could normally move on their own or use a wheelchair, they're going to probably do their best to get out of that fire. When their adrenaline's going, they're going to get themselves out of the fire. And for severely handicapped or disabled people, they're going to have caretakers or facilities that accommodate them for getting them out of this danger. So something to consider as well. Uncommon things. The heroic is the one I looked up here. So the heroic, there's going to be instances where you're going to have someone who feels a need to save. They're going to see that fire burning. They're going to see their friends, say, house on fire, and they're not going to see all their friends by the front door. They're going to freak out. They're going to want to go into that building and be the hero. Wanting to be the hero is something that is the worst case scenario for a firefighter. For one, they're not in protective gear. For two, they don't know what they're doing as far as protecting themselves in general and that kind of a danger. And it just makes it more dangerous for everyone when that happens. So the hero is something, I mean, you hear about them every now and then, actually going in there and doing something and making a save, but typically the normal behavior is going to be get out when it's dangerous. That's pretty much all I got on this right now. Look forward to you guys' discussions, and I'm sorry I look like this because I just worked at 48.